but the Time Lady knew they could be great friends.
The moment is almost upon us. The huge climactic season 2 finale of Doctor Who's new era it's almost here. And this video is going to break down everything about both part 1 and extra special over an hour long episode part 2. So we've got Wishworld and the Reality War. If you're watching this by the time Wishworld has already aired, don't worry, because a lot of this, both episodes tie into each other. A lot of this is going to be about the Reality War and rumoured to potentially be the last outing for the 15th Doctor. I mean, it's certainly somewhat implied in some of these articles. Russell talks about how everything's converging, all of the strands, space babies, and so many other things that you wouldn't expect to connect are going to connect in this final story. But we'll delve into all of that, plus who the returning god character may be, because Russell says there's a new leader of the Pantheon of gods, and I think we may know who it is. Trickster? Omega? We'll have to wait and see. First, let's look at the essential info panel from the latest edition of Doctor Who magazine. Before we get to reading the synopsis, we do actually have a cast list, which I forgot to mention when recording the video, but it's all your standards. It's the Doctor, Belinda, Ruby, Rani, Conrad. This is almost hitting to a beat. The only notable names are whoever the character Winnie Petheridge is. No idea who that is, but they're played by Sam Lawton. Obviously Poppy the Space Baby's back. The unit crew are all back, including Susan Triad. The Vlinks is there as well, and a notable inclusion here, Rose Noble is back, which is pretty cool. Hopefully they actually give all these characters something to properly do this episode, but we'll just have to wait and see. As ever, I'm not sponsored by Doctor Who magazine, but I'm a Doctor Who fan. You're probably a Doctor Who fan if you're watching this video, so you might as well go and check it out. Especially the latest edition is full of so much good stuff. Genuinely, you don't want to miss it out. I'm not going to read every article here because that would just be stupid, but I'm going to read little bits and bobs. There's so much interesting stuff there. This week's letter from the show, well, this month's letter from the showrunner, it's quite exciting. Go and check it out if you want. But the essential info we need to know for Wishworld is Saturday the 24th of May at 8 AM on BBC iPlayer, and then on BBC One exclusively in the UK, and Friday the 23rd of May at 3 AM ET. And on Disney Plus, where available in the rest of the world. Then the Reality War is Saturday the 31st of May 2025, BBC One, iPlayer, and selected cinemas across the UK. Let me know in the comments if you're going to see it in cinema. I've booked my tickets and I'm pretty excited. This is also notable for being the only episode of 15's run, apart from The Church on Ruby Road, which isn't airing earlier on iPlayer or being uploaded early to iPlayer. It's just coming out standard time, 7 o'clock for everybody. Written by Russell T Davies. I mean, it's the finale. It's obviously a Russell episode, and directed by Alex Sanjeev Pillai. Now here's our first proper synopsis. We're finally getting a look at what's going on here. And it sounds like WandaVision. Like, it's no coincidence to me, right, that Russell decided to come back to Doctor Who after COVID. He's literally said he saw what was happening with Marvel and thought Doctor Who deserves that treatment. And at the time, when he was bubbling away with all these ideas, WandaVision was on TV. But let's read the synopsis. John Smith and his wife, Belinda Chandra, wake up in their family home with their daughter. That's Captain Poppy, the space baby, is their daughter in this reality for some weird reason, on a seemingly normal day. They watch Conrad Clark on their television and sit down for breakfast, before the Smiths head off for a day of work. But when Ruby Sunday turns up at their front door questioning his identity, it's only a matter of time before the truth is revealed. Just what is Wishworld? And what awaits in the Underverse? We've got a quote from the Doctor here, tables don't do that. So let's unpack this synopsis first, because what? The Doctor doesn't even know what's going on. So it is, as I say, it's very similar to WandaVision in that everybody within this realm, within this reality, within this version of May 25th or 24th, for some reason can't remember their original life. I mean, we've seen pictures of the whole unit crew as well. I think they're all under some form of hypnosis. And I wonder why Ruby's the one who can almost, like, go against the system. Why can Ruby remember what's real and what's not? I mean, without Ruby, the world would be doomed. And I can't wait. It's going to be a heartbreaking scene to see Ruby trying to convince the Doctor, her best friend, that, like, no, we're best friends, you can stop all this. If the Doctor can't remember, if the Doctor doesn't have these memories, how's Ruby going to get them back? Or is the Doctor playing the long game and going along with it all until his moment to shine? The Doctor's done similar things in the Lie of the Land, where he's pretending to go along with, like, the sort of enemy plan, the enemy control of the state. It all sounds a little bit like 1984 George Orwell kind of vibes. And yeah, it's intriguing, because I wonder as well, like, we're talking about all these wishes. There's that line, I think, from Captain Poppy in Space Babies, where she says to the Doctor, like, Are you my dad? And he's like, no, I'm not your dad. And I think one of the babies says, like, oh, I wish you were. Is that why Captain Poppy is, like, their child? Because they wished for that? How do these wishes work? Well, it's going to become apparent. And also, what on earth does tables don't do that mean? Like, I'm stumped. The only theory that I've ever heard that's maybe, like, go, oh, maybe, but probably not, is when we were conspiracising about the spoons. For those of you who don't know, every time there's been a god in this recent era, a spoon has been key in their story. Maestro appears first in a spoon. Lux is brought to life via a spoon. Sutekh is defeated via a spoon. You lay spoons on tables don't set themselves, something along those lines, but we're probably way off there. Let me know what you think tables don't do that could be. Like, the tables turn, is it a play on that phrase? We've seen from preview clips as well that the two Ranis are in this sort of space station thing made of bone that stands on high above the world, and Russell has even pointed out in this article here, how does Conrad Clark, Ruby's fake ex-boyfriend, how does he fit into all of this? If you've got this unholy trinity, which Russell confirmed on Instagram is two Ranis counting as one person, Conrad Clark plus another. Why is a podcast bro within the evil trio? Bro thinks he's on the team. How did he make it there? Like, you've literally got two time ladies taking one spot and then a god plus a podcaster. There's got to be more going on with Conrad. I mean, we've seen him reading the book called, like, The Doctor Who and the Reality War. Like, what's going on? Russell says, and obviously it's showrunner talk, but I do actually believe him here, it's a wild ride. Wilder than it's ever been before. Doctor Who's head writer Russell T Davies says, it's a very epic story, but it gets very personal very quickly. It takes some very unexpected turns, the stakes are high, and it isn't an exaggeration to say that this might be one of the biggest finales of all time. The very personal very quickly bit is really interesting to me, and I think it's what Russell does best, so I'm glad that they're not trying to make it too big of a story. Russell's characterisation and personal stakes is always the best, and I wonder if they are somewhat revisiting the story of Ruby Sunday as a baby, because we've literally seen the Rani in, like, a cloak holding a baby, which makes me wonder, like, is that Ruby? Is there going to be some retconning here, or was this always the plan? Especially, I mean, if the Trickster is tying into this, there's been all this talk about, literally since the Devil's Called, that Ruby sung his motif when Maestro said there's a hidden song inside her soul. Do all these things connect together? I've also got a theory video, which I think should already be out on the channel, talking about the fact that the Rani and the Doctor, it sounds bonkers, but check out the video. The Rani and the Doctor could be recontextualised as effectively siblings, or at least very close when they were younger, and they're both experiments of Tecteun, and the Rani is carrying on Tecteun's sort of experimenting idea. Like, just check out that video, but that's a theory to mention. When Russell was asked to sum up the finale in 3 words, he said big, new and intimate, and he teases that there's big surprises from the Doctor and for the Doctor, which, once again, I've talked about this quote in my other video, but from the Doctor. What's the Doctor hiding? What does the Doctor know? Does this tie into the synopsis that I was talking about earlier, where maybe the Doctor is just going along with all of this and pretending not to be able to talk to Ruby so that he can reach whatever ultimate goal he needs? Is it going to be revealed that he did in fact look in that pocket watch that the 13th Doctor got during Flux. Shooty's talked in interviews about the fact that they're continuing building on Gallifreyan lore, Time Lord lore. How does this all tie together? And obviously there as well, there's the recontextualisation of the Doctor and the Rani's relationship, tying in with the idea that maybe they're long-lost siblings. Also, that idea does tie in with Ruby's plotline of found family, figuring out where you came from, your blood lineage, like, it all ties together. Speaking of it all tying together, Russell says that some of these plot threads that have been woven throughout the entire season are finally tied together in these episodes. He says, there's a lot I've been weaving in this time around. He says, by the time the last episode of the series airs, you'll be able to see what a full circle it's been, how elements of even the Church on Ruby Road are being paid off. It's rewarding for long-term fans, but exciting for new viewers as well. And there's always a twist at the end. He says as well in another quote that the 2025 finale holds a lot of space for Doctor Who history, while bringing together many other parts of the Whoniverse and still appealing to the casual audience. I'm glad that the casual audience aren't being forgotten about, because I think that was a little bit of a downfall with Empire of Death. It got a little bit too... like, they didn't introduce Sutekh as a thing for a new audience. They introduced him as, oh, do you remember Sutekh? Which I think was probably the wrong approach. And also, this is our final quote, but something which I think will probably cause controversy, especially on Twitter once people have read it. He says it's like a Marvel movie, which could be really good or it could be really bad, depending on which Marvel movie it's like. Hopefully, it's more of an Infinity War sort of vibe than it is an Endgame, but we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Are you excited? Are you cautiously optimistic? Or are you terrified for whatever this finale may hold? How do you think it all ties together? And who do you think the third member of the Unholy Trinity is? My final predictions, okay? Trickster and Omega. Trickster, I think, makes the most sense. Russell does say in the magazine, which you should go and check out, that the Trickster... He says this isn't a trick, or he uses the word trickster or trick multiple times, which makes me like, is that him teasing? Is that him teasing? Plus the big black cloak that Ruby's mum wore, and that the Rani's wearing in that preview image when she's holding the baby. Does it tie with the Trickster? We'll just have to wait and see. Omega, that ties in with Tecteun, the Rani, and Gallifreyan lore. There is a very heavy emphasis on Gallifreyan lore being changed, so fingers crossed. As I've said many times, Omega's like my favourite classic villain. It would be so cool to see him back, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share, check out the Patreon for exclusive early access, new videos, or if you just want to support me. Cheers, goodbye.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Confused Adipose YouTube channel.
I will destroy you! She's not seen a single episode.
No, I've watched your episodes.
Keep these sonic screwdrivers.
What else am I saying about the film? Don't watch this one.